Hello Internet, welcome back to our Prison Escapee series. We're having some issues here today. Specifically, once we get in the game here, you'll see that the hot air is being displayed visibly on our screen by these ampersands. I don't really know why that's happening, and I can't find anything to toggle it off, so I think we're just gonna have to live with it. It does appear to only be hot air and things, so it's not something that's going to be impactful outdoors. And yeah, I don't know, but we're gonna have to live with it because it's that or don't stream, and you know that you want me to stream. So, last few episodes we've thoroughly explored the town over the last since the length of the series. I think we want to work on our vehicle a little bit and try to get our vehicle in a position where we maybe could pack up and leave the town. I know we were grinding skills in the last couple of episodes, which is not fun to watch, and I would love to avoid doing that. We didn't even raise that many skills. We only got 2 or 3 skill points out of it, so really hasn't been super worthwhile. I don't think we've seen any cargo spaces, which I think we talked about previously. So I think we're just going to install trunks. Trunks are more spacious than the boxes from like the ambulance here. And I don't think we've really seen any cargo spaces at all. If we did, it would probably be back towards the prison. And at this point, we've forgotten those tiles. I suppose we could take a trip out to the prison and see if there's anything with cargo spaces. Aren't you, isn't this an expendable vehicle as well? We drove this one to town first, right? What's your deal, car? What do you got going on? Gas, engine, battery, wheels, controls. Yeah, we can drive this. Let's drive this out to, first of all, make sure we have our tools so that even if we find something, we want to be able to take it off of the other vehicle. Zombie, no, I'm not worried about you, Zambi. We need you to stream. I've been doing my own playthrough in Cataclysm. Cargo spaces are kind of hard to see. I think it depends on the tile set. I've been trained to look at the undead tile set and know what they look like, but in Altica, I think they're just gray squares, so it can be a little bit problematic. But with a hacksaw, grab a wrench as well. Man, I can't see the items. Okay, so the tool pile is here, I think. Give me the wrench. I don't know what we need to take those sort of things off the vehicle. We should take a little bit of everything, just so that we know, like, we have our bases covered. We'll take a hammer even. I think that's probably all that we're going to need. Okay, it'll do for now. We're just going to drive out to the prison. I just want to see, maybe there's a vehicle out there that has something of value. Worst case scenario, we'll grab some parts off of something just so that we're not piecing out some of these other vehicles that have lower value parts. We should definitely have enough gas to get there and back, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, I do Altica 2. I'm trying to go over to it. Yeah, it's the default now, which is pretty cool. And Altica is pretty great, in my opinion. So hopefully... There's an evac shelter here. Did we stop here? I think we did, because we took protein rations. You're not cargo spaces. What are these? Just trunks? They are trunks. So no, I don't want those. So let's head to this northern prison. And sleep, by the way, is for non-murder fans. I mean, when someone says, hey, I'm going to bed, I just assume, or they say good night, I just assume it's, hey, I'm heading off to bed or whatever. I guess that's probably not true for most people. Some people just step away from the computer or whatever, but I don't believe in any of that. I just live my life constantly at the computer, and then when I say goodnight, it means I'm piecing out to bed like 5 minutes from now, so... just whatever. Bunch of zombies and amigo. Don't really care. I thought there'd be more cars here. The last prison had a whole mess of cars out front. There's really not much here. I see... I guess this is parking. I thought maybe there was a garage, but it's not. It's just a wall there. And this is a wreck apparently, and these boxes are not really what we want. So this was a little bit of a bust, so we'll head back to town. We'll just put some trunks in our car. It'll be passable for the time being. We don't have a welder, which means we can't do things like adding stow boards like we probably normally would for a little extra space. So that's a bummer. Hello, C Black. Welcome back to the chat. I was, but most of the computer. My wife sleeps and the computer's in the bedroom. Okay. Got stuck on the phone. Yeah. So let's stop. We'll grab some trunks out of this vehicle. See what we can do here. So what do you need to remove a trunk? Metal sawing. Okay, we'll just saw a trunk out of a vehicle. And we'll grab this trunk as well. Do you know what a corrupted map buffer means? My save got corrupted. No, I have no idea. Unfortunately, I don't really know that technical side of things. I have had saves get corrupted, and there was nothing I could do to fix it. The best I can say is that in the future, you might be interested in, if you use the launcher, you can back up your saves. You mean the destination area is full. That is incorrect. Pavement. No, not the pavement. Into the trunk. 0 of 0 liters. Why can't you hold... Oh, you're destroyed. Okay. That makes sense. Put these in the trunk here. The launcher lets you really easily back up your saves. You don't have the launcher. Okay, I mean, you can just manually back up your save folder from time to time. Like I said, I don't know how you fix it. I think, like, I have no idea how you would fix that problem, but it would, you know, preventative measures in the future might save your save or whatever. C Black has rated with 1 viewer. Hey, thank you, C Black. Thank you. You're always so helpful and always supporting the stream. I appreciate that. Let's come to a stop here. Let's grab our trunks out of the trunk. And we'll haul these over because we're going to take the electric vehicle. We don't need the SUV or whatever. We're going to pop over and keep the electric vehicle. Still can't install those solar panels, unfortunately, because of a weird requirement for doing so. Even though we could pull them off, we can't actually install them until we have a higher mechanic skill, which we complained about in a previous episode. And we don't have the means to take our mechanics up. We were harvesting heating elements and rubber hoses to grind up our mechanics, but I don't think that that's necessarily that important. So let's install can install a trunk. Why not? Trunk. Requires a welder. Why? Why does it require metal sawing to get a trunk off? You would think if it's the future and they have these modular pieces, you would think it would just be bolt turning. And then installing it, similarly, you would assume that this gets bolted to your frame, but apparently you have to weld it directly on, which is a bummer. I'm always kind of frustrated when I see things like that. So we can't even install these trunks, which is like unhappy. Makes me unhappy. We don't have the means to make a welder for sure. Weld. 4 power converters. So we actually can make a welder. I'm really surprised. I didn't think we had skills enough. What does it require? Electronics. Okay, I thought it was a much higher requirement. And it does require medium batteries, which we probably have 1 of. Man, not being able to see with these ampersands is really annoying. We have no medium batteries. Oh, there we do. Okay, we have quite a few medium batteries. So we're okay. We should work on getting the welder, I think. Power converters. Well, we have seen some arcade machines. That's usually where I get everything. We could do that, I guess. Time is it? Why don't I have the exact time? What happened to my... I was wearing a watch, wasn't I? Let's walk over to, I guess, clothing. That's neoprene. Clothing. Do we have any watches or anything? We don't. Okay. Cell phone? Do I have a cell phone? I don't even have a cell phone. Okay. Well, let's go out to where there's a bunch of corpses and just search for a watch. Game watch. That'll do. Grab the watch. And we now can see the time. So it's 1 p.m. It's important that if we go harvest machines, we do it during the daylight hours, obviously. So let's, no, construction, where is, pinball machines? Yeah, we'll go over there. Working on getting a second emote going, but it has to be reviewed. What is the @ for, or the ampersand for? Yeah, apparently there's a bug or something. It is hot air. It's representing hot air with a actual tile. So it's overlapping everything, and it's really annoying, but I can't seem to find a way to turn it off. So, yep, that's just what we have to live with now. So you'll see it's even permeated into our neighboring apartment, which is interesting. I don't know why it would flow through the walls like that, but okay. I mean, literally, heat does flow through walls, like, you know, I guess, is that conductive? I forget the three means of transferring heat or whatever. I learned some stuff back in the day from a guy who did HVAC, and I don't remember any of it. This guy has cocaine on him, and my sound is cranked way up because it always is, and I'm a dummy. So let's go deconstruct the pinball machines. This will give us something. I don't know if it'll be the power converters exactly or not. Here's some arcade machines as well. What peculiar... Okay, they're upright machines. I was looking at this sort of sprite where it's literally just like a gray block and a screen. And I was like, what is that? But then as we come down, we can actually see the control panels. And it's actually an upright cabinet machine, which is pretty cool. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted one of those in my house. Specifically, when I was a teenager, I really wanted... so there's this game called Time Crisis 2, which was very popular in the arcades in my youth. It was one of those games that had a gun, right? And it had the pedal, and you would push the pedal, and you'd pop up, and then you would shoot the gun, and then you release the pedal to reload and kind of duck into cover. And I played that a lot when I was a kid, and I was like, you know... When I'm older and I have money, because you always assume, like, when you're a kid, you're like, when I'm older, I'll have all the money in the world. And I was like, man, I want to get that machine. And if you know anything about uprights, like the big cabinets, they are wildly expensive. Like, if you buy one pre-set up and everything, it's going to be thousands of dollars. And I don't know. I had a girl. I had a female friend who was like, they got a DDR machine, which is also very cool and very expensive. But those upright cabinets, if you build them yourselves, it's not so bad. But I don't really understand hardware and stuff, so like that's not an option for me. And at this point, surely at this point, there's like emulators that can emulate arcade games. I don't know. Probably. So like, I'm sure you can set one up yourself for like pretty much lower cost, but I'm not really handy in that way. I don't think I could build my own cabinet. I don't think I could do any of that. If I did, I've thought about this because like my niece, I thought like, oh, we'll set her up with like a Sega tabletop kind of cabinet, like something small, and they sell pre-cut kits, and all you do is assemble it, and you know, you buy the Raspberry Pi or whatever. So I have looked into that a little bit, but that's not like arcade. That's just like putting a Sega emulator basically on a computer. So I don't know. It's fascinating. I'm a big fan of software preservation, so doesn't ring a bell. I love that game. Yes, it is MAME. That word. That word sounds familiar. That's the term given to arcade. Like MAME was a cabinet, right? Like it was like you're talking about an emulator that runs arcade games, I guess, is probably what that is. Well, that's cool. You know, I'm a big believer in preserving that kind of stuff, making sure it survives. You know, how many of those machines have been completely lost forever? And, you know, I don't think companies, like, you'll see, like, Capcom or Atari or whatever release old stuff, but, like, I don't think all companies kind of maintain their intellectual property and stuff. So, like, it's cool that that stuff is being preserved. Yes, it's an emulator. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. My friend restores pinballs, and there's a lot of money in that if it's the right ones. Yeah, some of those as well are quite bonkers expensive. My great grandmother and her husband, they had a pinball machine in their basement. They also had a pool table, which I was way more interested in. But like that kind of stuff is just real cool. And you know, like I said, when you're a kid, you kind of think in the back of your head, like, oh, one day I'll have that stuff. And of course, you know, I'm in my 30s. I don't have anything. I'm not in a position to have that. So even if I did, I don't have space for a stand up. Those things are huge. I don't have space for a friggin' huge arcade cabinet in my house. It would be cool though. Let's drop our crap that we've picked up. Keep the aspirin and bandages. Someone commented recently and said, hey man, you're not using the favorite system, which is 100% true. Since the nested container changes, why are you in my apartment? Get out of here. Since the nested container changes, I haven't really been using the favorite system. Was it fixed? Can I just asterisk again? I can. So I can just favorite things real quick. The reason I stopped doing it is because when they changed nested containers, you had to go into the item menu and then favorite it. You couldn't just push a button on this screen. So we will favorite some of this stuff that's important to us. We'll keep the multi-tool. I don't think we need a screwdriver set with the multi-tool. Keep a source of fire on us. Keep a stethoscope, a card. I prefer the lighter, but that's okay. I don't know why I picked up these bearings. No, I don't want the bearings. Drop, let's go inside and drop our stuff. Because we kind of got interrupted, so we didn't fully drop everything. Keep the game watch as well, so we know what time it is. Just making sure I'm not dropping anything important. Okay. What do we got? Time Crisis 4 twin arcade shooting game is only $4,000. I mean, that's a little much. Also, it's not Time Crisis 2, which is the one I have all the nostalgia for. So they had another one too. It was like another Time Crisis that had like the SMG and it had like the pneumatic guns. So when you would pull the trigger, the slide would work on it. And it was super obnoxious because it would constantly like it was a submachine gun, so it was constantly pumping the slide, and it was so obnoxious. But I remember playing those games a lot. That and House of the Dead. Those were the two arcade games I played the most as a teenager. Oh, and Soul Calibur 2. I used to go and play Soul Calibur 2 all the time, which by today's standards is not a good fighting game. Let's make the welder. Arc welder. I think we picked up welding goggles somewhere. Hopefully, ideally, please, fingers crossed. Tried to make a toolbox today. It had no tools in it. Oh, in Cataclysm, naturally. Yeah, I saw that they changed the way toolboxes are, but I don't actually know. I haven't done anything with it. So here we have a welder. Let's go ahead and reload the welder. Just pop a disposable in there. We'll do for now. And we're going to need goggles. Do I have... Please, give me welding goggles, please. No, we don't have goggles. Do we have a PBA mask? We do not. Do we have... Let's just look manually. Nope, nothing. Okay, very small pile. Neoprene, maybe we dropped it here. Weld. We do have welding. Great, great. Saves me some work there. I didn't get to play much when I was young. Oh, me either. It was like we would go when I was real little. My grandparents would take us to the mall, and there was an arcade in the mall. That's where I played like, I don't know. There was a skiing game that had like you stood on the skis and actually like moved your feet around and stuff. I liked that game, and Soul Calibur I would play, and like House of the Dead and Area 51 was really popular. And then like that was like a once, maybe once or twice a year thing we would do that. And then like as I became a teenager, I would go on dates to the movie theater, and that's basically the only time I would ever go to an arcade. And they usually only had a few uprights and whatever at the movie theater. But I love those. I love those games. There's just something really satisfying about playing a shooting game where you have the gun in your hand. I've always really enjoyed that. Um, Light guns are fantastic. Even when I was like 18 and I first had some money, I started buying my own games and stuff. I had a light gun for like, I don't remember if it was the Xbox or the PlayStation, but House of the Dead 4 was on there, and I used to play that just over and over and over, because I really like the House of the Dead games. They're terrible by like my current standards. Like we played Typing of the Dead Overkill recently on the channel, and it was not great. It was not a great game, but it was something. Why can't? Oh, okay, here's the trunk. Sorry, I'm looking at the list and I'm like, where's the trunk? We had them in bars and stuff, but I was too young. My great grandfather on my grandma's side lived next to a bar. He was a drunk, and when we were like 7 or 8, we would go to his house, and they would let us in the bar to eat food. And they had this machine. It was like bowling. It was a stand-up machine. It was very small, and you would get a puck, and you had to flick the puck through this little gap in the, like, because it's blocked off by a screen, and you would push it through, and then it would go over these pegs, and it would simulate knocking down pins. Like they would shoot up into the machine if you hit the pin, and then it basically was bowling for very cheap. I don't know. It wasn't a very good game, but I remember playing that once or twice because we would go to his house, and he lived right next door to the bar. Like he moved in there specifically because it was next door to a bar. So they are good. Typing in the Dead games, not so much. I mean, I just don't like when we played Overkill. It was constant profanity, constantly like just not. There's little stuff that kind of offended my sensibilities, I guess. Saw a zombie there somewhere. I don't know where it got to. So we installed 2 trunks. It's really not that much storage space. We would love to get more in this vehicle. I suppose we could take out the passenger seat. We don't have that much stuff, but I'm used to having cargo spaces which can hold 90 liters more than this, so I'm a little concerned we're not going to have the space that we need. So let's rip the seat out. Seatbelt, seat, and we'll put a trunk in there, and I guess we'll pack up and move to a new town because this one's a little bit, I'm over it. Install another trunk, please. Trunk. And we of course need a recharger and things, so that's a bummer. Have a good stream. Gonna go take care of stuff while she cooks. Have a good night, Jack. Yes, goodbye, C Black. Thank you for stopping in. So we're gonna pack up our stuff. I'm confused as to why it's showing I can install the solar panel when I obviously don't have the skills. Can I install it without the skills? I can't. So what is the point of lighting it up in this menu and having it display as installable? Because I can't install it. Everything else is grayed out. Why would this not be? I don't know. I don't know why that would be. Yeah, and all the nudity and cow things. I do remember udders in that game. I do remember there were udders. Yeah, we played that on the channel. I don't know. I like typing games a lot, so it was a pretty natural fit. And obviously, I love zombies. So, okay, let us pull. We're not gonna have space for everything. What Oh man, what do I even? Just it doesn't matter. We're in the early game. We've only been playing for 8 days. So we only take the important stuff. We don't need everything that we've picked up over the last week, you know? It's not that significant. Like, I just picked up all that wood. Obviously, we don't need to take wood with us. We'll just take the important stuff and we'll leave everything else behind. So, let's just remove everything. Add a new unsorted zone here. And then for the vehicle, we will just the important stuff. Okay, I really want to take the solar panels with me. They're only 12 liters worth of stuff. Let's quickly pop those in the vehicle here, just so that we have them with us for when we're able to install them. So we're gonna need books for sure. Books are important. Yes. We will put medication with the books because they're both relatively small things. We're going to need a tools pile for sure. There's no negotiating. We need the tools. We can manually pick up clothing we want to take with us because we don't need to take everything. We don't have bionics. We're going to need guns and ammo for sure. So we'll put guns and ammo here as well. And we'll put a weapons pile as well, just to catch any like melee weapons we might have. What do we need? We don't need clothes. I guess we need to make a pile for food and drink. This is probably just going to get filled. And let's make sure that's not on the pile with anything else. It's not. So let's make food and drink. And it's probably going to fill up the whole tile, but we need to take some food and drink with us. We could even take, instead of perishable food, we could just set it to be only non-perishable. But we'll do that if we find we run out of space. So let's, for now, sort this out. No compatible zones nearby. Why? What? There's an unsorted zone right there. Sort my loot. Okay, I guess maybe we were just out of range.